What's up, guys? It's Drac, and it's time. It's time. You suffered through my very boring bottom 5 video, and you're dealing with the fact that one of my hair tendrils is flipping out past my glasses. But you're in for a treat today because we get to talk about the top 5 blasters of 2024. These videos tend to do really well. People look forward to them. People use them that aren't maybe as involved in the hobby as a good sort of litmus test for where the hobby's at. And it's pretty similar to years past with some notable exceptions. But a lot of this stuff that we're talking about debuted at the only toy fair this year. There wasn't a toy fair in 2024, so it was hard to keep track of everything. But we rolled all the way out to Nuremberg. We got a sneak peek at a bunch of it, and all of it's been launched, and most of it turned out pretty well. So with that said, let's move on to our honorable mention. And our honorable mention is the Nerf Pro Torrent. If you expected to see this higher on the list, that means that you didn't actually play with one. I was stoked when I saw this over in Rhode Island. I think that it's an amazing entry. I think that it's honestly a good blaster. There are things about it that could be better, but given that you can get it on sale right now, like on Amazon right now for 20 bucks, it's worth taking a look at. If you haven't tried it yet, for 20 bucks, what do you have to lose? It's a primary class pro length blaster, and that's to say that when primed, you can come down here and it's shooting half lengths out of an angle Talon compatible magazine. It's delivering the hits. I mean, it's not a performance powerhouse by any stretch of the imagination. It's only vaguely modular with like hallmarks to N-Strike from years past. It's got a tactical rail up top, and you're likely to crunch your finger because this comes all the way back when you prime. The whole slide system. It's a little bit funky, but it's not bad. Like I said, launched at 30 bucks. At 30 bucks, it was okay. At 20 bucks, it's honestly kind of a bargain. It's not amazing from the perspective of like, is it the best blaster? No, that's why it's an honorable mention. But while they're starting from behind, it's exceptional to see Hasbro recognizing the space, building something for the space, and selling something within the space, particularly at a compelling price point. When this first was kind of like hinted at when we were talking about it in Germany, the operating theory was this would be, you know, another premium Strife Pro flop where it would come out, it would be $100, and it would be vastly blown out of the water by even Adventure Force offerings. It's pretty on par with Adventure Force offerings at this point, and it's cross-compatible with a lot of hobby stuff. So while I haven't seen anybody like really build out a Nerf Pro yet, I look forward to the day that I do, because if nothing else, this proves that Hasbro is interested in the half-length category in a world where they've thrown elites by the wayside to move all in on the new Nerf in-series Dart ecosystem. It's nice that they're still doing something that's clearly for the ages 14 and up category and exciting within that category. So, honorable mention, Nerf Pro Torrent. The Cinder was nowhere near as good as the Torrent in that it's vastly outclassed by other electric blasters, but their Springer offering, pretty good. Coming in at number 5, it's not a Gnoblin, it's a Gnarl. This is just an exciting offering from the new Siren line. Siren being NSI's entry into the category. In a year where we've seen some players exit the category, it's really important to keep competition up within the space so that we get innovative stuff, and most importantly, so everybody keeps the pricing pretty consistent across the board and fair. It is the cheaper of their offerings, but the Gnarl is a powerhouse pistol that delivers the hits. For 20 bucks on sale or 25 regular, the Gnarl is extremely powerful, takes a micro Talon compatible magazine, and seriously slaps. I have a safety delete kit and a muzzle delete kit for mine on foamproshop.com, but overall, I mean, I really dug that Siren was doing something within the category. It was exciting to see them at Jeb, and overall, you know, I was very, very pleased to have a new entry into the category kind of replace the Crossman exit from the category. It's clear that they're performance focused. While the company's launch might not have been absolutely perfect in every way, you know, I know that they're trying their best, and the rising tide raises all boats. So I wanted to throw one of their products onto the top 5 list. The number 5 is the Gnarl, because I think truly like dollar to performance, their other offerings are not quite as compelling as the Gnarl, but the Gnarl gives the Aeon Pro X a run for its money at a very similar price point and a slightly different shell assembly. So I do dig it. Hopefully you guys dig it too. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of the Siren in general. But the Gnarl was definitely my favorite, best of the bunch. Given everything that we said about the Gnarl, it's not going to surprise you that number 4 on the list is the Aeon Pro X. And you know, it's gonna be a theme here. I get flack for it because they're like, Drac really stands Dart Zone. Dart Zone is making the best stuff. Like, they're gonna be on the best stuff list. The Aeon Pro X, it's hard to believe that it's $25. In much the same way that when the Aeon originally launched, it was hard to believe that that was $25. This is a half-length dedicated Springer primary that just so happens to be in a compact form factor with all of the things that we were selling kits to do to the original Aeon. They just kind of yoinked the ideas. They were like, clearly they want to turn it into a compact kind of like SMG thing. So built-in stock attachment point, way bigger, way more comfortable grip. I sold hundreds, I might have sold 1,000 of our Aeon Pro grips, and all they did was they gave you more meat to grip onto with your top hand so that that prime was more comfortable with heavier spring loads. It's now got a skinny pusher by default so that you can load magazines whether your breech is open or closed. Tactical rails out the wazoo, a grip that you can rip off and is compatible with, this is gonna sound redundant when we get higher up the list, but it is a strict improvement on the Aeon Pro, which was already an incredible blaster at the same price point. They could have very, very easily upped the cost on this, taken it up to $35, and I think it still would have sold just as well. So the fact that it's 25 bucks for a primary class blaster that's delivering 150 FPS shots in a compact tight package with like a multi-mag release, it's just a stupendous blaster. If you haven't already taken a look at the Aeon Pro X, I highly, highly recommend it. I think it's gonna blow you away with how feature rich it is and all the things that, like, it's harder to modify, which is sad from a tinker's perspective, but it's amazing from a consumer perspective that for 25 bucks you could be war ready just stopping by Walmart on the way to the field. Pretty insane blaster. Coming in at number 3 is the Maxim Pro. Mine is currently in pieces because we're still developing a kit for it, but the Maxim Pro was everything that we wanted, you know, the Strife X to be. It's cheap, it's modular, it's got built-in battery options where you can LiPo power it, but out of the gate, it's pro-level flywheel performance with no muss, no fuss, no bells and whistles. It is a simple Strife replacement platform system with a translucent shell so that you can see everything that you do or don't choose to do to it. You can power it off alkalines if you're like truly just interested in an entry-level product, but like I said, with no soldering required, you can hot swap in either a XT30 LiPo aftermarket or some of the LiPos that Dart Zone has been giving out with their higher end electronic blasters. The fact that it's Adventure Force means that it's affordable for everybody. It's just a really dynamic platform. I've seen a lot of people modify them to great excess. I want to build a kit for it, but it's tricky to improve on something that's clearly so feature rich by its very nature. The only downside is that I wish it had a rev switch. And I believe my buddy Luke over at Out of Darts has made a rev switch kit thing for it, because it's obvious that we're all just really, really hungry to modify Strifes. In a world where they're not making any more Strifes currently, it's nice that we have a pro category entry into that sort of like semi-auto flywheel pistol at a very affordable price point with a lot of features that clearly have the hobby in mind. So the Maxim Pro, pretty slick. Coming in at number 2, we have a worker blaster, and I'm gonna drop and clap. The Nightingale 2.0 is, again, like, and this is the theme, right? Like, everything on this list is just, the company saw that we modified their really good thing to make it better in these 3-4 ways. And when they saw 4 of us do it the same way, they said, we'll just do it for them. The Nightingale 2.0 is a Nightingale that's been hit with, you know, a steroid shot. Better magazine, better overmolding of the rubber everywhere, metal everywhere that you want it, including the battery door, all 3 of its rails, a more compact shell in a lot of ways, screws everywhere that you would want to attach either a magnetic holster or what have you. They're full auto by their very nature. There's a lot of different options for cages and pushers to make them different rates of fire. But the real trick is that if you want a machine pistol, you need something incredibly ergonomic, and that's what this is with a symmetrical shell. The Venom Pro was cool, don't get me wrong, but the Nightingale is better in every way. I offered up a video at one point where I was like, is the Nightingale twice as good as the Venom Pro? Because it's twice the price. This isn't a cost comparison video. This is the top 5 blasters for the year. And you know, the Nightingale in the machine pistol category stands head and shoulders above the rest. It is a truly awesome foam flinger. It's even better when you go full Daniel Radcliffe guns akimbo. I really dig it. If you haven't gotten your hands on one, I'm sure that somebody at your local war scene has one. Run it for a round. Once you run it for a round, I think that you're gonna be picking one up. They're available at Out at Darts. They're available on Amazon. They are sweet. I just highly recommend getting the orange one or getting the white one and dyeing it pink or something, because this silhouette is not very forgiving for public play. So make sure that it's as forgiving as it possibly can be. However, it is our number 2 blaster. It is a ton of fun to play with. I really love wielding mine, running around various events. However, only one blaster can stand at the pinnacle of 2024 achievement. And you know, it really is just the year of sequels. And there's no better act to follow. It's hard to think of a more impactful bombshell on the foam flinging hobby and market than the Nexus Pro. The Nexus Pro redefined what I guess a sub $100 Springer could be. And we weren't expecting a sequel to that, but after years of modifying it and a dozen different kits being launched, it seems like Dart Zone hopped on the trend and was like, yeah, we'll just fix it ourselves. It wasn't broken, it's a fine product, but people want a little bit of extra heat out of it. People want a slightly more dynamic foregrip out of it. People want a modular grip, a modular stock, and a flat rail up top. In addition to that, it comes with a roller scar by default, which is actually just quite good scar. It also comes with an original scar that you can use as storage, side rails by default, so you don't have to print them and mount them. I mean, again, like a dedicated half-length magwell so that you don't have any of that slop in your prime. It's better in every way. They could have very easily charged an extra 20 bucks with the hope of like sailing it down, especially knowing that it was going to Walmart. They didn't do that. They were like, you know, it was amazing at $50 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now it's amazing at $50 in 2024. There's a little bit of like lament in the hobby that it's like, wow, my top 5 list is 1, 2, 3, 4 sequel blasters, plus a couple of new entries that are largely redundant within their specific category of like, you know, pop, prime, Springer, pistol thing. But it's hard to argue. I mean, at 50 United States dollars, you get a primary that competes with the 3D printed blasters on the market, not directly one-to-one, but so close at such a high FPS point that, you know, it's a little pedantic to get into the weeds over it. I mean, if you've played with the Nexus Pro X, you're like, wow, this is awesome. And if you haven't played with one, then I highly recommend picking one up. I mean, this is the best blaster of the year, especially given that Worker hasn't done a particularly compelling Springer of their own this year. I think that Worker did like a bolt action Springer. Bolt action, the people who love it, they love it. It's a lot like bullpup, but at the end of the day, like, this is the ergonomic standard for a reason, and it's by far the most competitive way to do it. So the fact that the Nexus Pro is field ready out of the box for 50 bucks is just unheard of. It comes with 2 magazines, it comes with 2 scars, it comes with 2 sights. It's incredibly modular by its design. You could very easily spend $200 making it a slicker, spicier custom version of itself, but the fact that you don't have to is what makes it the #1 blaster of the year. As always, guys, the list is subjective. It's heavily influenced by my personal play patterns and my preference for competitive play and innovation within the industry. If you have different influences in how you enjoy having fun, you know, your list will look a little bit different, but I really do. I read every comment on this video. I would love for you guys to give me your lists. I would love for you guys to critique my list. That is my hot take, the top 5 blasters of the year. I guess if you'll permit me a little bit of buffoonery, if there is another honorable mention, this thing kind of snuck in like as we were filming, this thing showed up. I think the Ace of Spades is awesome. It's probably the best dollar to fun, like dollar to accuracy ratio of anything the Nerf Limited line has done. It blows the Gallarhorn out of the water. It's better than the Jinx rocket launcher. It's affordable. If you are a fan of Destiny the game, or you're just a fan of really big revolvers, I think that the Ace of Spades is an excellent blaster and could have very easily you could make an argument to slot it anywhere on this list, especially since, you know, it is them doing a custom mold, it is them reaching out, it is a new propulsion system of like revolver, spring pusher into flywheel system afterburner almost, but I know where to put it on the list, and frankly, I finished the list before it showed up. So it's showing up really close to the tail end of the year, and I'd be lament not to put it in the video at all, because I do think it's one of the coolest offerings we've gotten out of the Nerf Limited series, and it'll get lost in next year's video because it technically launched this year, just very late into the year. So that's my list. I think that, you know, as we file 2024 to the past, it'll be very clear that the Nexus Pro X has redefined what entry-level springers are capable of and will inspire competition within the category to give us better and better stuff. I can't wait to see the new Zuru, you know, whatever the long shot that competes with the Nexus Pro X is gonna be amazing. And hopefully we'll take a peek at it in New York coming up Q1 next year. But that's my list. Comments are super meaningful to me, guys. I will be reading all of them. I'll reply to all the ones that are interesting, and I will see you guys in the next video. Much love. Blast on, Drac out.